Hello. I think that's working.
Howdy.
Ooh, why is our background not working? Ah, screw it. Hello, everybody. Yeah, things aren't quite working as we want them to this evening. So, I think that's the best way we can round it up. Sum it up. It's not working as we want it to.
Yep, that's pretty much how it goes.
But how are you, Cheeto?
I'm good, hanging in there. Just looking to chat some Trek.
Awesome. Hey, we've got a finale to talk about. So
baby.
if you haven't watched the Discovery finale yet, please go find something to do, or put us on mute and just watch our animated style. So we don't know what's happened to Alec. He's kind of AWOL just now. So who knows? Big J might still pop in. He has kids to attend to right now, so we don't know. For me, it's just for now. It's just me and Cheeto to my on my screen. He's to my left.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah. We cannot guarantee we won't talk about games because there's no Big J to scold us for doing so.
I know Brian's sitting there stewing in the chair.
He's like, oh no, no. Yes, Scott Good. Spoilers, definitely. There's spoiler warning. Awooga, spoilers. So, if you do not want to hear anything about the last episode of Discovery, tune out now, because we're about to peel open that onion. So, let's start with what was your impression of it? What did you think?
I thought it was pretty much a lackluster ending. Yeah, I mean, for all this that we went through, and as again, spoilers, for what we went through, and then for them to just to yeet the progenitor tech like into a black hole, and I really feel like that was kind of the wrong move. Even if you wanted to make it like a single use of the progenitor technology, bringing Book's planet back, even resurrecting Locke, I mean, would have been better than what they did. I did enjoy a lot of the fight sequences. I did enjoy seeing the actual progenitor, person. Even though it was a program, I still enjoyed seeing the progenitor. They didn't really try to season 1 cling on it either. They didn't try to make it special. They didn't try to make it better.
No.
They were like, nope, this is what the progenitor looked like in the original in TNG, the chase. This is what the progenitor looked like in here. I mean, a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, it was they tweaked it a little, but somewhat. Some have suggested it isn't the progenitor. These are she is the race that found the progenitor tech, but the progenitor that we saw in TNG possibly was the ones that actually invented the technology.
Maybe. I mean, but also like makeup technology has changed. Prosthetic technology has changed.
Absolutely.
So I mean,
I was really hoping that they would get Salome Jens.
I think isn't she 90
actually
now?
Yeah, but it would have been cool if she would have at least done a voiceover or something, so you'd have that distinctive voice. That would have been cool. But yeah, she's probably out of the business.
Oh yeah, I think I read somewhere in an article based on the finale. I think that she's like in her 80s or 90s at this point. So it's like, yeah, let her rest. You know what? Let her rest. I'm good with that. I mean, and there are more progenitors than obviously that one progenitor that was. The one thing that really besides the yeeting of the technology, the one thing that really irked me though is that they even blew up the mystery even more, because then they're like, oh well, we found this technology, and it's like, like okay, so the progenitors are what they say 4 billion years ago or something like that.
Yeah, give or
something
take,
like that.
give or take a decade.
So it's like, oh well, we found this technology and it's from even before us. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. I'm like, ooh.
I didn't. I thought they were making it mysterious just to make it mysterious. Like it, as I said, I didn't like the way they did a lot of these. I didn't like the way they did a lot of the Progenitor wrap up. You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah. It also felt a little bit hurried as well at the
Mhm.
end. There were two. Where I go, where they lost me was the whole slow motion hugging and laughing and oh my goodness, just get on with it.
You didn't like the Lord of the Rings ending?
I
Come
didn't.
on, man.
I didn't mind it. I mean, it was the series finale. So I mean, Discovery's always been very huggy, and I've always said this over on NerdTube
Yeah.
is that Discover, like the thing I don't actually like about Discovery more than the fact that it's the Michael Burnham show. I can live with it being the Michael Burnham show because Sonequa Martin Green is a fantastic actress.
Yep.
So I have no problem. Like, I don't like the writing that they do for her a lot of times, but I don't mind her being the focal point just because she's great. I like her. But it's just that it seems like even in season 1 and 2 of Discovery, it seems like such a different Starfleet. Everybody's huggy, everybody's lovey-dovey, and it's like you didn't see that on DS9, you didn't see that on TNG, you didn't even see that in. I mean, you saw a little bit of the camp, but you really didn't see that in TOS. Voyager kind of had some of it, like a little bit of the hugginess, but that was because of Captain Mommy Pants. So, and yes, Scott Good, I am also very upset by the ending of Enterprise because Enterprise is one of my favorite Star Trek shows, and the way they did the Enterprise show is dirty.
Well, they were done dirty as well. They were told halfway through the season, right? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So we were lucky we got the full season.
And that was the problem was the last episode, and it wasn't even really the last episode of Enterprise. The way that Star Trek in the from the 90s era was going to end was pretty much already preconceived. Regardless of which season Enterprise ended, there was already this notion that in general we're going to end the series with this thing that's supposed to be a I hate to use the phrase, but I can't think of a better phrase, and this phrase makes me want to kick dogs and cats when I say it, but the Valentines to the fans, which is a phrase that I believe was either Rick Berman or Brandon Braga coined. I think it was Berman, and it was
everything Berman says is great.
Right? Yeah, because he's got a great track record, and it just completely fell flat. Even Frakes himself and Marina Sirtis were kind of asking themselves, "Why are we here? What is the purpose of this?" It's their show, and it's turned into basically a glorified TNG episode. But thankfully though, at least with Discovery, we didn't get. I don't feel like we got a cop-out ending, which is a good thing. I walked away from it with the feeling that not only do I not feel like that there was a cop-out, but I think that they went above and beyond to give us some closure on something that they didn't even need to do, and that was tying in to the short trek Calypso, which I hate that we're still bringing it up and making a big deal out of it. It was a short trek. The problem is that because the season 2 and 3, etc. of Discovery was angling so far past what we got out of that, and was because it was at risk of breaking canon, all the Trek beards were just salivating, just dying over the thought of canon being interrupted. And what did they do at the end of Discovery? Went like that, like, all right, you want your canon here, you got it right here.
And here's
we're gonna fix it right now, and then fix your face.
Well, and that's kind of the thing is like I except for the one line of Burnham saying like, oh, I think you're I think you're going to be waiting for more than my lifetime. Like, technically, if you think about it, like Discovery technically has been waiting for that moment for over 1,000 years. Well, not over, but like around 1,000 years, because they went from the 22nd century, 23rd century, all the way to the 32nd century. So almost 1,000 years has passed since Discovery left space dock. But I know that Burnham said something. I don't know. As I said, but I knew that the Canon commandos would come out and they would seriously it would just give them more fodder for Disco, to berate Disco. I'm kind of glad they did it just to shut them up.
And then they got schooled.
Yeah,
it's the same as every time. You can't please everybody.
Yeah,
they tied up a potential canon violation. But then,
in a very cheeky way, I should add.
But then other people are saying, "Oh, they've done Zora dirty."
It's a computer, like
yeah, but still, people view the ship as a character, and therefore Zora is a character. And
Sure,
yeah,
I can buy that.
That's why I think they should have played it as the 1,000 years was since the 23rd century up to the 32nd century. You know what I mean? Like, so she only had to sit out there for like 50 years or 10 years or, whatever, so it's not actually like another 1,000 years. Like, I just thought, again, we're bleeding. We're trying to pull blood from a turnip or whatever the phrase is. You know what I mean? Like but the Canon commandos just would have been all over it. I mean, they had their cactuses and lube ready to just take it out. They wanted to stick it. They wanted to stick it to Discovery.
There's a new T-shirt: cactuses and lube.
Oh, yeah. You haven't bought that T-shirt yet? Oh, I got 3.
Oh God, no. Well, I apologize for being late. I was close to being on time. Then I had to run out and get some stuff for the kids. I've got a couple sick kids, and
family first, dude.
It was a long day. It was a busy day. I was really trying to find the second wind to, keep things going and to make it for the live stream. And I saw the comment you guys made in our chat. What were we going to talk about? And as soon as Cheeto said maybe gaming, I said, son of a bitch, I need to be on here because you guys need supervision.
Listen, we need an adult here. We need an adult here to manage us, make sure we don't talk about gaming.
Yes. And then on the way here, I think I was being followed by a CBS van. I had to lose them in the subdivision, but it was looking a little dicey there for a while. The van had CBS on one side and a big wrap that said Paramount on the other side. So and it was black. This one looked like it was a special edition. Didn't have any windows. So yeah. So you guys just keep your heads on the swivel.
They're getting in that mileage before they get bought over and made redundant.
Right. Yeah.
Is it Sundance or Skydance? I can't remember.
Sundance is a film festival.
Yeah, Skydance, isn't it?
Is
I didn't read much into it because I was busy. But I spotted a headline saying Skydance review their offer for CBS or something like that. So I don't know what's going on, but it looks like the deal's not actually completely dead in the water.
They're looking into making it a merger more so than a all-out buyout, which apparently is different. I have no idea what that means. I just know that they said that now they're looking to review the terms of the buyout, but it's going to be a merger instead of a all-out buyout. So I don't know what that means.
Lower buyout. That's all that is.
I say, it's a merger. So like that's kind of what they're looking to do. It's much cheaper apparently for Skydance, but if anyone in the chat knows the difference, please let us know. But I don't know. All I know is that we need Trek to stay alive.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do. And you know what else I just looked at the other day? Looked at some of the previs and some of the finished VFX shots for Axanar, and I don't know what was shown a couple weeks ago when Alec was on, and I did not have time to.
It was very, very basic previs.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I didn't have the chance. I thought about it too late. To see what could we possibly show tonight. But I got to tell you, it looks good. There is some very good looking work that's happening there. I'm certainly excited for it. The VFX is underway and being worked on, and we're going to be in for some surprises. Now the previs work, I know that they're being shown on Patreon, so you can subscribe to the Axanar Patreon and be able to see that stuff ahead of time. I do know I want to get the the newsletter link ready. I figured out how to do it once, and then I swear it's one of those things you figure out how to do it once, and then you forget the next time.
I figured it.
Oh, thank you.
But
Thank
right
you
now
very
it's just the Patreon. So if you want to support and you want to see stuff before anybody else sees it, get yourself onto Patreon.
Also, you might see pictures of me on there too. You never know.
I think
we have taken down your nudes. Those were terrible.
Come on, man!
That's what I was going to say.
Money. There goes your money maker. In that case, go over to NerdTube's Patreon. You can get all the nudes there.
There you go. That's your target audience.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Here's the newsletter. Sign up, and then you'll always know what's going on. There are emails sent out periodically telling you what the latest and greatest information. And yeah, that way you don't have to constantly ask, when's it coming out?
Oh, and the other goal I had was to not get sabotaged 10 minutes before the end of the live stream, like you guys did me last week. So I'm ready. I'm prepared for you guys this time in your shenanigans. The shenanigan. I think what we should do is we should start an Axanar OnlyFans. The three of us here.
Cheeto's halfway there.
Pretty much.
He'll sell himself out for anything.
I mean, I will. I'll sell myself. I'll sell myself for a couple bucks. Why not? Speaking of which, Brian already donated $5 down there for shipping and handling.
What do we get for $5?
Oh, shipping and handling.
Oh, we got some handling, Cheeto. Got some ball handling.
Does that mean?
I don't know how I get invited anywhere. Like I.
Me neither. How do we get invited to anything?
I don't know. I think we just strong-armed Alec into this, for example.
Pretty much. We kind of just said, okay, you know what? This is our live stream now. Like, look at me. Look at me. I'm the host now.
I mean, we say Alec is AWOL. No. We've actually just taken over. He's no longer part of this stream.
That's okay. That's all right. You know what? He can be our guest.
Yeah, every now and
yeah,
then.
That's right. He can be our guest whenever he
when we need to talk about
whenever he wants.
When we need to talk about 40K gaming, just to annoy Brian.
Oh, would you guys quit picking on Brian? What did he do to anybody?
Hey,
mean people, meanies. He didn't do nothing to you.
So anyway, back to disco. I can't believe I'm the one bringing us back on topic.
Oh yeah.
Really? What has happened?
What mirror universe are we in that I'm bringing us back on topic?
Yeah,
I don't know. You obviously have something interesting that you want to.
No, I just like talking about Star Trek. Then we started talking about nudes, and I got distracted for a minute. So
Understandable.
Well, I liked the episode. Mostly, the lovey-dovey stuff at the end I couldn't deal with, and I do think the ending was a little forced with them refitting Discovery to her 20th, let me get this right, 23rd century specs, and taking the A off the registry, just to abandon her. I would have liked if the abandonment came naturally, fluidly, like something happened to the crew. or
Well,
something
or-
like that. You know,
Or maybe in order to hide the progenitor tech, maybe they had
that would have
to
been cool. Yeah.
and they had to send Discovery like on its own somewhere or into the black hole, and then it went through the black hole and it came out 1,000 years again in the future, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like anything.
Potentially, yeah. They even scientists today think time could possibly be reversed in a black hole, or time travel is possible in a black hole because not even light.
Time travel is possible in warp without an inertial damper. So because the faster you get towards light speed, the slower you are going, or the faster the rest of the universe is going around you while you are at speed of light. So imagine that times 10 when you are, when you're like warp 9.9 without apparently inertial dampeners are supposed to prevent that now is what they say.
Well, the inertial dampers stop you from becoming a pile of goo against the bulkhead.
They say nowadays it's also supposed to stop
But it could be. There's never actually been an actual bit of technology that accounts for the time dilation.
Well, no, but I think that's what people say. I don't know if it's canon or not.
But I would say that it's possible that the inertial dampers have.
I say we're arguing the physics of a fictional device. A fictional device.
Whereas I want to talk about how a Breen warship got yeeted to the galactic barrier.
Oh, that was my favorite part of the episode.
I love that idea.
Wouldn't that suck to have that happen to you?
Well, they shouldn't have been dicks. That's my argument.
They were being massive dicks. They weren't listening, so they got yeeted. And
the warp bubble too, Brian. That too.
He said it'll take him a couple of decades to get back. So,
and I love the line where he's like, "That's more than they gave my family," showing character growth.
Yeah,
because that if that was him at the beginning of the season,
he would have destroyed them.
He would have just destroyed them.
He would have yeeted them into a sun or something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He would have yeeted them into the black hole. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. You could have done that. Yep.
It was a dick move, though, but yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
Better than they deserved.
I wasn't a big fan of the whole the progenitor tech just needs to be thrown into a black hole. Nobody can handle it. We shouldn't even be anywhere near it. Which I
do understand that. Yeah, but I do understand that. Luckily, we didn't make Burnham Space Jesus.
It was either it was going to happen.
That would be insufferable.
It was going to happen one of two ways. Either Burnham was going to be made the steward of the progenitor tech, or it was going to be destroyed or thrown somewhere. Those were the only two outcomes we were going to get, and we might as well have gotten the throw it into a black hole thing because we know what the only other option would have been. I was satisfied that the progenitors said, "Hey, well, no, this isn't ours. We found it."
See, I am on the exact opposite camp of everybody on this one. I was saying before you came on, that was actually like one of my least favorite parts. We're like, oh boy, another mystery. Like
Well, not really. It's not really a mystery as such. We still don't know who the actual progenitors were, but we don't need to know. We only know we have the technology there, and we decided not to use it.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, though, it helps with that paradox of who created the creators, and that's the problem. Is in the back of everyone's mind this whole time is, okay, so the progenitors created everything in this galaxy, life in this galaxy. Who created the progenitors?
Shakari.
And what's that?
Shakari.
It's a place, not a person,
right,
or people.
And I think it was
what
just
does God need with a starship?
Right. We just weren't meant to try to answer that question, and I appreciate the writers of Discovery not being so full of themselves as to think that that they were answering that decisively by not answering who came before the progenitors.
But why couldn't the
made it clear
progenitors
that,
develop
yeah,
this
something
technology
came before.
themselves?
What's that?
Why couldn't the progenitors develop that technology themselves? Why,
Because they found it and
They
don't
found
need
it.
to.
Yeah, that's I think that's a cop out. I think that's a huge cop out, and I think that I don't know. I really didn't like it. I would have been more satisfied if they, if the progenitor's technology was the progenitor's technology,
Well,
and
but then
they can mention other races that are more powerful than them from before. But why do we have to find this technology? Like like then we might as well go on the crusade through the galaxy to find what was the first civilization.
well, but the problem is that you can't presume to be able to answer that. Who created the creators? How far back are you willing to go?
I never
before
thought
you
that
think
they were
that-
the creators, though. They just
Yeah.
said they seeded the galaxy with similar genetic coding. That's why all sentient life kind of looks the same, like a lot of the major races.
But
So that always was. Oh, I got that, but I always assumed there were races before them. But I'm
no,
just
the way it was worded in the TNG episode, The Chase, the writing
Search.
heavily implied that the progenitors were the creators of life in this galaxy, and
Yeah,
what
they
that
searched the galaxy and found nothing. No life, nobody.
and
So
so
they seeded
but
it.
but then why would they say that if they found this technology that was that they're basically
Well,
writing
because
themselves
it was
into a
because it was a civilization that had obviously gone extinct before they found the technology.
exactly. So
And
all they needed to say was, we searched the galaxy and there was no one else that we could find. So we built this technology to see the galaxy, to, make it like fertile and expansive. Like they didn't really need to be like, oh, well, we found this technology to see the galaxy. And it's like, no.
but the thing is, though, you have to take the writing and context of the time. The point of The Chase was that the progenitors were the ones that created life in this galaxy. They were not there to answer or contradict the question, well, who created the progenitors? What they were leaving us with was that was them. They weren't even addressing who came before them. That wasn't the point of the story or that episode or of the script. What we were left with after the fact were those questions of, okay, well, wait a minute. We all came from the progenitors. So who did the progenitors come from?
Q.
It's Discovery that decided, get him out of here. Yeah, I see that comment. No,
But it's a legitimate point. Who created the creators? Q. Like,
okay.
literally, like it could all probably be traced back to Q.
Well, but then who created the Q? See, that's the problem. Is you
exactly.
You could keep going back and back and back, and
that's what I'm saying. Why do we need this toilet bowl effect of going back and back and back and back? Why, like, no.
I don't know.
I would like to think, yeah, that would work, because the Q have evolved so far that they're now omnipotent. So it's quite possible they were the first. They created that tech and then, ascended into omnipotence, as it were. And then along come the progenitors and find the tech.
Well,
it's possible.
So here's the thing that I'll say, because this is my firm belief, being someone that is a left brain and able to follow logic, is that life happened via evolution. There may have been some guiding force, you can call God or whatever name you want for it, but evolution is what brought life into the galaxy, and there is other life in the universe, whether it was before us or will be after us or is happening concurrently. Humans are not the only life at the start and end of the universe. I firmly believe that. The thing is, though, for a television show, you have to be really careful as to what you'll put your foot or put the line in the sand on. Is a Star Trek show going to piss off the right wingers and the Bible thumpers by saying strongly and definitively that evolution is what brought life into the galaxy and into the universe. Well, now you've pissed off the evangelicals and the ones that believe in the sudden appearance of Adam and Eve. So you've got to be very careful as to just how far you want to go in a TV show to explain the origins of
I don't think they've ever shied away from that. I mean, they've quoted many times that the universe is 13 billion years old. Like they've never
No, that's not in doubt. That's not in doubt. It's when you start talking about the origins of life is when it starts getting a little dicey.
I don't think they've ever shied away from trying to piss off the evangelicals. Like I don't think they've ever contradicted them, maybe outright. But I mean, I'm 100% sure that if you are an evangelical and you believe that Star Trek believes that there's even a remote possibility of Adam and Eve and all this other stuff, then
wasn't there also some sort of dialogue somewhere which basically called religion hokum or something like that? You know, it's just once we grew beyond the hokum of religion or something like that, the boundaries of religion, something like that. So I don't think they would have been worried about pissing off the Bible bashers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they've ever shied away from that. I mean, I mean, even Picard at one point said, and I think he went about it the right way, saying, "Look, I don't know if there's some supreme entity out there, but evolution is just a thing." And I'd have to look up the quote. I don't even remember what season it was from, but I remember Picard saying at one point that that he doesn't know if there's a higher power out there, but it's not anything we've been able to find yet. And then he met Q. No, I'm kidding. Q was in the first episode, but I 100% believe Picard does not believe that Q is God.
A god, yeah. No.
Yeah, he's like no, like Q is not proof that there is a God. I denounce that idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then Cisco met the prophets.
Exactly. I just think that with how the progenitors were being handled is that it was handled in a way that there in my opinion there wasn't a hardline stance being made by Star Trek in that episode to raise a debate on the progenitor's role in the creation of life. It was left unanswered, which I think sometimes that's the safe way to go.
With today's sensibilities, people getting offended by the slightest little thing, and thinking that because they're offended, their way needs to be met.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I can understand why they left that open in the episode.
Well, look at what Star Trek did when it did try to address the question of God.
Don't say Star Trek 5. Don't say Star Trek 5.
Hey, I'm highlighting one of your guys, our friend Zam. He's got a good point.
He has a very good point.
Yeah, that's also from the mind of William Shatner, and we all know what that is.
Hey, I'm just saying, look what happens when Star Trek tries to answer these questions.
No, that's what happens when Bill Shatner tries to answer these questions.
What do you want? I'm just saying. It happened.
I want Star Trek 5. Look, listen, if people get the prequels from Star Wars, and if people get the Star Trek Discovery erased from canon, Star Trek 5 needs to be erased from canon too. I'm sorry, it does. Listen, you're going to sit here and talk about erased from canon. The first thing that needs to be erased from canon is Star Trek 5.
We can't erase anything from canon. It's all there.
No, it's there.
I know. That's what I'm saying. If we're going to start talking about erasing canon, somebody in the comments, I think Brian said something about erasing Disco from canon.
Oh,
so if we're going to talk about erasing canon, Star Trek 5's got to go first.
Yeah.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's not the best either. He got done. True. He got done dirty by the budget and a writer's strike as well, I think. And ILM would by the time everything was fixed. By the time everything was fixed and they were able to produce things, ILM went, no, we're busy.
For what, Star Trek 5?
Yeah, and then
Star Trek 5 had more problems than just the budget.
He also wasn't allowed to go back and fix it. They've just said no.
Yeah, as I said, there were more problems with Star Trek 5 than there was the writing, the directing, it has some of the acting. It has one director.
Of the best. It has one of the best lines.
No,
I know this ship like the back of my hand. Clonk.
Oh.
That is not the best line. Like that is.
It's one of Scotty's best moments.
Listen, I know. I'm not saying it's a bad moment. It might have been like the best moment in that movie, but.
Spock, be one with the horse.
Star Trek 5 is an example of what happens when you have contract interference happening that influences a studio and influences movies. The whole reason that William Shatner directed Star Trek 5 was because of the favored nations clause that was in his contract and Leonard Nimoy's contract, which basically said that if Leonard gets it, Bill gets it.
Yep.
So basically, there was not a choice. William Shatner had to be given a movie to direct, and that's part of the problem is when you don't get you don't go into a movie with the good intentions of let's get a good story, let's get a good director, a good this and that. It was, we have to fulfill a contract obligation. That's what happened. That's how we got Star Trek 5.
Yeah, it is essentially, for any wrestling fans out there, it is essentially when a professional wrestler, has creative control of their own character. It's Hulk Hogan. William Shatner is the Hulk Hogan of Star Trek.
Can you explain that a little more for those that aren't as versed in wrestling as you guys are?
Well, everybody knows Hulk Hogan. He's one of the biggest names in wrestling.
Yep.
The problem was with him is that eventually he got so big that he had creative control over whatever happened with his character, and that's what killed the entire corporation of WCW, because he could keep the belt for as long as he wanted. He could drop the belt. He could not drop the belt. There was one night he walked in, he was supposed to drop the belt and he never did. He just didn't. He just decided not to. He had complete creative control, which meant he decides what happens with his character on any given day. That includes a title, that includes a script. And what happens is it just, you can't, when you have creative control like that. And I'm sorry, like Leonard Nimoy was the exception when he directed Star Trek 4. For all of its flaws, for Star Trek 4, it's not the best, but for all of its flaws, it is 5,000 times better than Star Trek 5.
Yeah, and that's a shame.
Agreed.
That's a shame right there. Is when you have a person, and I know we've talked about this before. I bring this up. I brought this up with Jim Parsons tanking The Big Bang Theory because he has the power to decide one morning, I don't want to do it anymore. Now you've got hundreds of people out of work. Hulk Hogan got to where he was able to tank the WCW. William Shatner was put in a position where he just about tanked Star Trek. And I'm curious as to when, if ever, the not just Star Trek, but the entertainment industry is going to wake up and realize these are the things that can happen with when you give your actors too much power. Is they can do stuff like that. The cast of Friends did the same thing. I mean, they were they went into every contract negotiation together, which at least was a united front. But that was again, they got big enough to where naturally they ran the show. That's a bad example. I've got to keep it to one person.
Wasn't it Seinfeld tanked his own show because he just demanded far too much money?
When he decided he was done, it was done. Patrick Stewart, he said in his memoir, Making It So, that and I'm kind of paraphrasing the line, but this is mostly it. If he was amenable to doing an 8th season of TNG, we would have gotten an 8th season of TNG.
Yeah.
Basically, he didn't feel like it. So we didn't get it.
But at least he got at least they did movies, and I guarantee you, after Star Trek V, I guarantee you that if TNG was not in its twilight, because TNG would have been in Star Trek V, TNG would have been in season 3 or 4 at that point.
Let me look it up here. I should.
I think because TNG was coming out right around the time Star Trek 4 came out, so I feel like TNG would have been in season like 3 or 4 at that point.
Star Trek V was released June 9th of 1989. TNG aired in September of 87. So
yeah, so it would have been like
second or third season.
In between second and third.
But I guarantee you, if TNG was not running, we probably would have lost Star Trek after Star Trek V fiasco. I think Star Trek V made money just because they were coming off the heels of Star Trek 4. But I think Star Trek V was so poorly received that they would have been like, if there was nothing else Trek in just the movies, I would have been like, well, here we go again, off to obscurity.
There was that, and the other problem was that Harve Bennett, the super producer of Star Trek in the 80s, wanted to do Starfleet Academy. So he wanted to follow up the failure of Star Trek V with doing the Academy.
I think he took the heat for the failure of Star Trek V.
Mm-hmm.
I think
someone's got to take the heat
because he wasn't involved in any Trek production afterwards, was he?
No, when his idea of the Academy got shut down, he was I'm out.
Well, at least he got a bit of screen time, so.
True. Yes, good for him, and that's great. But I think that Discovery was on the cusp of having the same issue, and I think that's why these shows are smart to only go 5 seasons, because that's about the amount of time it takes for a cast member to gain too much power. I hadn't heard any rumors or any rumblings, anything like that, but Sonequa Martin Green, I'm sure, was about to that point where she could exert influence over Discovery, that she was reaching a point where if she were to say, nah, I this is the amount of money I want for a 6th season, if I don't get paid this, then I'm not going to return, and then you have no show.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is with Discovery, they wanted to make Paramount or CBS. They wanted to make one of the two seem cheaper, because Discovery was an expensive series, like all the visuals and stuff like that, and all the set designs and everything like that. Yeah, that pretty much was like, I feel like that was a very big determining factor, as well as Lower Decks. Lower Decks is kind of expensive for an animated show, and let's be real. I'm sorry, like 10 episodes per season, like we're not getting the substance that we used to get in the 90s. And I'm not saying and we've had this conversation before here, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. But like, I don't think we should go back to 20 some episodes.
No.
Meet us somewhere in the middle, and some of these actors are asking for a lot of money for just 10 episodes. Mm-hmm. I know that's why Detmer and Owo's characters were not in this very much, because they were off doing other projects during the filming of this one. And I think they were, I don't remember if they had prior commitments, or when they were offered the money for Disco season 5, I think they decided to go elsewhere. You know what I mean? And they were offered just guest role money for whatever episodes they were in.
They were already guest roles. What were they? What the hell did they think that they were in the right to ask for?
Well, I think they had other opportunities elsewhere. That's like Cruz. I don't remember his first name.
Wilson Cruz.
Yeah. He's in what movie is he filming right now? Daughter of the Bride?
Was just in Mother of the Bride.
Mother of the Bride. Yeah, Mother of the Bride. So, yeah, I mean,
let me just tell you, Brooke Shields. Oh. Mm-hmm. She still got it.
So, I get it, but still, I think they're trying to make Paramount, CBS, Star Trek as a whole look cheaper, so that they can they can negotiate better. I don't know what the tactic is there, but you figure they'd want it to seem more expensive so they could ask for more money. But
well, here's the thing. In my opinion, I will not rest until we get an official Paramount / CBS funded Axanar the motion picture. I will not. I'm going to push for it. Don't tell me good luck. I'm going to make it happen. That's what we need. We've got to have it. Are you with me? Yes.
I would love that, but I don't think that's happening.
No. And I think I heard a van just pull up in my driveway for re-education.
Yeah, no, I've actually just heard the doors slam shut as they get
It's
out.
one of those van doors. It's not the thump, it's a boom.
You
know the sound a sliding door makes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just heard several of them.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm here. I'm hearing.
Big J's a big guy. We got to send a few people for him.
The CBS SWAT team is coming in to take you down.
And Zam 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 did make a comment earlier about they made a show about her and she worked the most and probably deserved a pay raise at some point. And I'm not denying that. I'm just saying the tactic that they're using is they're trying to cheapen Paramount as much as they can before they sell it. So they're trying to make it more enticing. That's why Lower Decks, and I know Lower Decks is expensive too. The animation is not cheap on that show. Can you guys believe, not switching lanes here, but can you guys believe we're already getting Prodigy in early July?
We are?
No. Yeah, you guys didn't hear about that? They gave us Netflix gave a release date. It's July. Hold on. Trek Culture talked about it. I'll look up the actual date, but it's early July.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. July 1st on Netflix, season 2. They have not said if they are dropping all the episodes, half the episodes, or it's going to be a weekly thing. But
if they're clever, they'll do it weekly.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think that's for the best. I never have been a binger, so I don't like to binge. I can't binge show. I never can sit down for hours on end to watch a show.
I can.
I cannot. So I like the weekly thing because then it's like, and then you get the anticipation and the theory crafting and all of these things that we get, like in between each week. Brian, I did watch Acolyte, but
some of us haven't.
Some of us here have not, so we are not talking about Acolyte.
Is Acolyte up?
It is. It just came out today or yesterday. Yeah.
Nice, man. I'm working too hard.
If you want to go over to NerdTube, we have a review over there. And plug.
We really should set up a NerdTube plug just for this.
We should, yeah. I'm all for that. I'm gonna watch the episode first, then watch.
Listen, the NerdTube plug just needs to be Dave Chappelle sitting there going, "Hey, you got some more of that stuff?" And then like a van door opening that's like NerdTube logo in like a van, like the van sliding door. It's like make it a white, like dirty van.
I like that. Yeah. Well, so I've got some stuff I need to check out then. Well, guys,
all I will say without spoilers is I didn't like it when it first started. I liked it after that, and that's all I'm gonna. Yes. And see, you can see the logo right here. There you go.
There you go.
Anyway, Disney is collapsing faster than Paramount? What are you talking about? Like Disney, listen, that mouse ain't going nowhere.
The mouse is going nowhere. Yeah.
No. A lot of people want to say go woke, go broke, and bullshit like that. But despite what they're doing with some very famous and very fan favorite characters, they're still making money.
Oh yeah,
hand over fist.
Yeah,
a Lucasfilm alone made them what I think Alec was saying $14 billion last year. That's not pocket change.
Yeah. And they bought it for $4 billion, right?
Something like that. So they're already well into it.
Profitability. Yeah,
You know,
they've
okay,
gotten
yeah,
their money back.
They got their ass kicked on the Star Cruiser because they forgot about their prime customer base: mother, father, and 2.4 children. What happened to the other 0.6 of that third child? No one knows, but it's 2.4 children.
What
And
are you talking about? Wait, I'm lost now.
your average family, on average, once you average everything out, it's every family has 2.4 children. It's an old thing. It's an old thing here in the UK. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
it's just averages. You could only stay in the Star Cruiser for 2 days, a weekend, and it cost you upwards of almost $3,000. You know, you could get a 2-week cruise on an actual cruise ship for that amount of money. So yeah, okay, they lost a lot of money on that, but they've still overall in good financial shape at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Disney's not going anywhere ever. It is
Nope.
fine. It will be around long after
I mean,
we're all
you know,
gone.
like they may consolidate. You may see changes at Disney, but
Yeah.
Disney, like, I mean, because I think they're talking. Well, they're opening a 5th park, aren't they? Aren't they talking about opening a 5th park?
I've heard something about a 5th park. I'm not sure where though. Where
I think,
was it
and
supposed to
I
be
think
again?
they expanded on
Paris,
Disneyland.
China.
Disney's not going, and especially with Bob Iger in charge. I'm sorry, look, Bob Iger may not be the best human being on the planet, but he's brought Disney in the past 20 years into prominence. And yes, Bob Chapek really screwed things up for Disney. But like now that Bob Iger is good with Disney. Like as I said, he has said some things in the past that just really are questionable when it comes to work ethics. But or morality ethics maybe is more what I'm looking for.
He's definitely got the I'm a billionaire and I'm completely separated from the realities of the world or about him.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and Chapek also ruined a lot. I mean, Chapek was responsible for a lot of the worst Marvel programming we had in recent years. So,
really?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, but some people may not agree with me. I'm not going to get into that here, but that there are certain shows that just you could tell that they were following a certain metric, and that was not what they needed to do. They needed to worry about making a good show first, then work the metric. You know what I mean? Like make the metric work for them. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that makes sense.
Iger, it seemed like he allowed not creative control, but like creativity to blossom, and especially Marvel. I think that's where a lot of that came from.
Right, gotcha. Well, you guys, we're coming up on last few minutes of our live stream here.
He's starting early because he wants to make sure we're done.
Yep, I got to start early with you guys.
So let me pose you a question.
No, nope.
So about the green screen in the back behind you.
Yeah, why aren't we seeing your lovely, fabulous background today? Is it just because you were in a hurry?
I was in a hurry. Yeah,
fair enough.
That's what it was. I just in a hurry. Was already late. Had to get it done. And
hey.
Yeah.
When we started, we didn't have this background. It was just a blank gray. It just disappeared on me. I've been like, whoa, what did I click? Oh, I'll just wing it, and then eventually I found it. So hey, it's been one of those days.
That's right, Brian. Green screen for OnlyFans content. He's getting started as soon as we get off of here.
Oh yeah.
And you're there to hold his hand, I'm sure.
You've heard of Han Solo. You're going to get to see Bron Solo, baby.
Oh. Bron Solo. I like it. All right, guys. It was fun. As always, like hanging out with you all. And yeah, I am wiped out. So I'm gonna put my feet up and just relax. Got some serious relaxing to do and some Star Wars to watch.
Oh yeah, you've got the Acolyte to catch up on. Yep. Next week we can talk about that for sure.
All right, good, excellent. All right, audience, everyone's watching us. See you later. Watch out for strange unmarked vans following you. Have a nice night, nice week. We'll see you next week.
Have a good